Historians have a variety of tools that can help us learn about historical figures. Since Paul and Muhammad both made claims about Jesus, the tools of the historian can help us decide whom to trust. When Muhammad preached in Arabia, there weren't a lot of historians around, and the early Muslim community didn't know much about first century Christianity. So, in this atmosphere of ignorance, Muhammad could say whatever he wanted to say about Jesus, and his followers wouldn't know that he was wrong. Muhammad could say, for instance, as he does in Surah 4, verse 157 of the Quran, that Jesus wasn't killed and wasn't crucified. Muhammad could say that Jesus claimed to be nothing but a prophet and that Jesus' disciples were Muslims. 7th century Arab Muslims wouldn't know any better, and even if they had, it wasn't exactly safe to question Muhammad's teachings. But we're not in that position. We have tons of ancient sources. We have a never-ending supply of historical Jesus scholars, and we have the freedom to go where the evidence points. And when we apply the historical method and the tools of textual criticism to the ancient records, we find that the Muslim view of Jesus as a man who claimed to be nothing but a prophet, who was never killed, who never rose from the dead, and whose followers were Muslims, this view reflects the historical Jesus about as much as a Huffington Post article claiming that Muhammad was a world-class feminist reflects the historical Muhammad. But Paul's claims about Jesus line up perfectly with everything we can learn about Jesus historically. And because Paul was a contemporary of Jesus and knew Jesus' original apostles, if Paul had preached a non-historical Jesus, he would have been condemned by the early church and exposed as a false teacher. The reason he wasn't condemned and exposed was that the Jesus preached by Paul was the same Jesus who walked along the shores of the Sea of Galilee, who performed miracles, who made claims that no mere prophet should ever make, who died on the cross for sins, and who rose from the dead. The Islamic Jesus is a kind of Frankenstein monster pieced together from 7th century Arabian fables, filtered through Muhammad's 7th century Arabian theology, a theology that was only one step removed from its pagan roots. If you've ever wondered why there are Christian historical Jesus scholars, Jewish historical Jesus scholars, atheist historical Jesus scholars, and agnostic historical Jesus scholars, but no Muslim historical Jesus scholars, it's because Muslims are bound by the methods and ideas of Muhammad, the world's greatest authority on how not to do history. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. In case you stumbled upon this video while browsing or searching, I wanted to let you know that it's part of a series comparing Paul and Muhammad. So if you'd like to see the full series, be sure to click on the playlist. If you're already in the playlist, you're about to see how Muhammad's teachings were heavily influenced by paganism.